The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Marcus Aurelius. Women don't leave men because of one big mistake. They leave because of a pattern of unattractive behaviors that slowly kill attraction. You could have the looks, the charm, and even the right words, but if you make these mistakes, you'll push her away without even realizing it. The Stoics mastered the art of self-awareness and discipline. They understood that a man's true power isn't in what he says, but in how he carries himself, how he treats others, and how he controls his own impulses. And when it comes to attraction, women notice everything. They're wired to pick up on the smallest details, details that tell them whether you're a man worth their time or a man they need to avoid. So, if you want to keep her interested, keep her respect, and keep her attracted, watch this video until the end. And if you've ever seen these turn-offs in other men or yourself, share your story in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another lesson in psychology and Stoicism. Now, let's get into it. Chapter 1. Arrogance. Confidence is magnetic. It draws people in, commands respect, and sets a man apart from the weak and unsure. Arrogance, on the other hand, is repulsive. It pushes people away, breeds resentment, and makes a man unbearable to be around. The line between the two is razor-thin, but the consequences of crossing it are enormous. Once you do, you don't just lose respect, you become a walking turn-off, someone others tolerate at best and avoid at worst. A confident man knows his worth, and because of that, he doesn't need to announce it to the world. He doesn't seek approval, validation, or applause. He moves with quiet certainty, speaks with purpose, and lets his actions do the talking. His presence alone is enough to make an impact, and he understands that true strength doesn't come from shouting about his greatness, it comes from embodying it. An arrogant man? He's the opposite. He's constantly bragging, exaggerating, and steering every conversation toward himself. If he achieves something, he needs everyone to know about it. If he owns something expensive, he makes sure to flash it. If someone else is winning, he finds a way to one-up them. He doesn't just want to be admired, he needs to be admired. And that desperate need for attention is exactly what makes him weak. Women see through arrogance immediately. They don't admire it. They tolerate it until they don't. A woman might be amused by an arrogant man at first, or even intrigued by his confidence if she mistakes it for something real. But over time, the cracks start to show. She notices that every story he tells is about himself. That every success is exaggerated. That every conversation revolves around his ego. And when she realizes that his arrogance isn't a sign of strength, but rather a mask for deep insecurity, her attraction fades fast. Because that's the truth about arrogance, it exists to hide something. A man who is truly self-assured doesn't feel the need to impress everyone around him. He doesn't have to list his achievements, flaunt his wealth, or make everything a competition. He already knows who he is. He knows that success isn't proven through words, but through the way he carries himself, the way he treats others, and the way he moves through life with quiet, undeniable strength. Think about the most respected men in history. The great leaders, the warriors, the philosophers. Did they walk into rooms bragging about their accomplishments? Did they try to dominate conversations by proving how superior they were? No. They led by example. They let their discipline, wisdom, and achievement speak for themselves. They had nothing to prove because their actions already showed the world exactly who they were. Now, think about the arrogant men, the ones who desperately seek validation, who constantly remind others how great they are, who can't handle being challenged or questioned. These are the men who crack under pressure. The ones who are easily offended. The ones who need to belittle others to feel powerful. Their arrogance isn't strength, It's a shield, protecting a fragile ego that can't handle the idea of being seen as anything less than perfect. Women respect men who carry themselves with quiet strength. The kind of man who doesn't need validation from others because he validates himself. The kind of man who doesn't have to talk about his success, he simply lives it. He doesn't compete with those around him because he's too focused on competing with himself, becoming better every single day. The moment you start trying to prove your worth through words instead of actions, you lose. The moment you let your ego take control, you stop growing. And the moment you need others to recognize your greatness, you reveal that you don't truly believe in it yourself. And here's the worst part, arrogance isn't just unattractive, it's a sign of deeper personal weakness. A man who can't control his ego is a man who can't control his emotions. And if you can't control your emotions, you'll never have control over your own life. A truly powerful man doesn't let his pride dictate his actions. He doesn't need to prove himself to anyone because his life is already proof of his value. He remains composed, measured, and focused. When he speaks, people listen not because he demands attention, but because his words carry weight. When he enters a room, people respect him not because he forces them to, but because his energy commands it. This is the difference between confidence and arrogance. Confidence is knowing who you are and being at peace with it. Arrogance is trying to convince others that you're more than you really are. One is built on true strength. The other is built on insecurity. And the choice between the two determines not only how women see you, but how the world respects you. Chapter 2. Laziness. A man without ambition is a man without attraction. It doesn't matter how good-looking, charming, or funny you are, if you lack purpose, you will eventually lose your appeal. Women are instinctively drawn to men who have drive, men who wake up every day with a mission, men who are actively working toward something greater than themselves. It's not just about success or money, it's about having a fire inside you, a hunger to achieve, to grow, to leave your mark on the world. If you spend your days aimless, uninspired, and unmotivated, sitting on the couch, scrolling endlessly through social media, watching hours of TV, or playing video games without any real direction, she will notice. And she will lose interest. Fast. Because a man who has no control over his own time, no sense of purpose, and no desire to improve himself is not a man she can respect, admire, or trust to lead. Laziness isn't just about how hard you work, it's about your overall energy. A lazy man lacks passion, lacks curiosity, and lacks the ability to inspire those around him. He drains the life out of relationships instead of bringing excitement, motivation, and progress. A woman doesn't want to feel like she has to carry all the weight, constantly pushing you to do something with your life. She wants to see that you are self-driven, that you have an inner fire that fuels you to move forward. She doesn't want to be your mother, your babysitter, or your source of motivation. She wants to be your partner. Men with no drive often wonder why they keep getting rejected or why women don't stay interested for long. The answer is simple. Women want to be with a man who is going somewhere in life. A man who has a plan, who is disciplined, who is always striving to become better than he was yesterday. Even if you don't have everything figured out, even if you're still working on your goals, what matters is that you have direction. That you are moving. That you are not stagnant. Think about the Stoics. They didn't wait for life to hand them purpose, they created their own. Marcus Aurelius didn't sit around complaining about his circumstances, he embraced discipline, structure, and constant self-improvement. He saw life as an opportunity to build, to refine himself, to grow stronger every single day. That's the energy women crave. Not perfection, not riches, but movement. A man who is actively evolving, shaping his world, and taking control of his destiny. Because if you're lazy with your own life, What does that say about how you'll treat her? If you can't commit to improving yourself, how can she trust you to commit to a relationship? If you have no passion for your own growth, how can you inspire her to grow alongside you? If you lack the discipline to take care of your own responsibilities, how can she believe that you'll be dependable when it truly matters? A woman wants to feel secure with a man, not just financially, but emotionally and mentally. Security doesn't come from money alone, it comes from knowing that the man she's with is capable of handling life. That he won't crumble under pressure, that he won't give up when things get hard, that he has the resilience and discipline to keep moving forward. A lazy man gives her the opposite of security, he gives her doubt, instability, and disappointment. If you find yourself stuck in laziness, ask yourself, what am I doing with my time? Am I building something, or am I just coasting? Am I working toward my potential, or am I making excuses? Am I leading my own life, or am I waiting for someone else to push me? These are the hard questions that separate men who thrive from men who fade into mediocrity. A woman will always choose the man who is striving, the man who refuses to settle, the man who makes things happen. Because a man like that is exciting. He is inspiring. He has a presence that commands respect. And that's the kind of man she will want to stand beside, not out of obligation, but out of deep admiration. Laziness is a silent killer of attraction, respect, and success. If you want to be the kind of man that women desire, that people look up to, that leaves a legacy, then get moving. Build. Grow. Become. Because the moment you stop evolving is the moment you start losing everything. Chapter 3: Unclear Intentions and Playing Games. Women despise mixed signals. They don't have the time or patience to decode every little thing you say or do. If you like her, show it with clarity and consistency. If you don't, be honest and let her go. It really is that simple. There's nothing attractive about a man who keeps a woman in limbo, stringing her along with half-hearted interest and vague gestures. She will either lose interest or resent you for wasting her time. Too many men believe that playing hard to get will make a woman chase them. They think that by being distant, aloof, or unpredictable, they'll make themselves more desirable. This is a common misconception that only leads to frustration and disappointment. A woman who is truly high value won't waste her energy trying to figure you out. Instead, she'll move on to a man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to pursue it directly. Mixed signals don't create attraction, they create confusion. One day, you're warm and engaging, the next, you're distant and indifferent. One moment, you're texting her back within seconds, the next, you're ghosting her for days. This inconsistency doesn't make her want you more, it makes her doubt your maturity and sincerity. A stoic man doesn't play games because he values his time and hers. He understands that emotional honesty is a sign of strength, not weakness. A woman shouldn't have to be a detective to figure out how you feel about her. She shouldn't have to spend hours overanalyzing your texts, trying to decipher your intentions, or wondering if she's wasting her energy on you. If she has to constantly question whether you're serious about her, you're already losing her. Women don't stay where they feel uncertain. They want stability, confidence, and a sense of emotional security. The solution? Be clear. Be upfront. Be a man of your word. If you want her, pursue her with intention. If you're unsure, don't lead her on. If you're not ready for something serious, tell her from the start. There is nothing more attractive than a man who owns his truth and communicates it without hesitation. A woman will respect you far more for your honesty, even if it's not what she wanted to hear, than she ever would for mind games that leave her feeling manipulated. When you embody this kind of directness and integrity, you set yourself apart from the countless men who are too afraid to be real. Women crave certainty in a man, not because they're needy, but because clarity is a sign of strength. The man who can express what he wants without hesitation is the man who commands respect, admiration, and deep attraction. Chapter 4. Lying. Even the smallest lie can destroy a woman's trust forever. A man might think that a little white lie won't hurt. That bending the truth here and there to avoid conflict, make himself look better, or cover up something uncomfortable is no big deal. But here's what you need to understand: women are natural detectives. They are wired to notice details, pick up on inconsistencies, and sense when something feels off. If you lie, she will find out. And once that happens, it won't just be about that one lie. She will question everything. When a woman catches you in a lie, even a small one, she starts to wonder, what else has he lied about? What else is he hiding? If he's willing to lie about something minor, what happens when something major comes up? Her mind doesn't stop at the single lie, it spirals. Suddenly, every past conversation, every story you've told, every promise you've made is thrown into doubt. Trust, once cracked, rarely repairs itself fully. And here's the real problem: lying isn't just about deceiving her. It's about what it says about you as a man. A man who lies is a man who fears the truth. He fears consequences. He lacks the courage to own his actions, to stand behind his words, to face reality as it is. And that is weakness. No matter how much strength you project on the outside, if you lie, you reveal that deep down you are afraid. Afraid of accountability. Afraid of discomfort. Afraid of honesty. The Stoics believed in absolute truth, even when it was uncomfortable. Because a man who stands by the truth, even when it's painful, even when it costs him, is a man of integrity. And integrity is what makes a man truly powerful. It's what separates boys from men. Look, honesty isn't always easy. It can be uncomfortable. It can lead to difficult conversations. But it earns you something invaluable: respect. A woman might not like what she hears, but she will always respect a man who tells her the truth. And respect is the foundation of real attraction, real desire, and real connection. Think about the kind of man you want to be. Do you want to be the man who constantly looks over his shoulder, hoping his lies don't catch up to him? The man who loses sleep worrying about what he said, what he covered up, what might be exposed? Or do you want to be the man who walks through life with nothing to hide, who faces the world and his woman with absolute confidence because he has built his life on truth? When you are honest, you eliminate fear. You eliminate doubt. You eliminate unnecessary stress. You stand firm in who you are. And that is something no woman can resist. So don't just be truthful with her, be truthful with yourself. Don't say things just to impress. Don't exaggerate your achievements. Don't make promises you can't keep. If you've made mistakes, own them. If you have flaws, accept them. If you've done something wrong, take responsibility. Because here's the real power of honesty: it sets you free. A man who doesn't lie is a man who never has to second-guess himself. He speaks with clarity. He moves with certainty. He builds a life and relationships on solid ground. Be the kind of man she never has to question. Be the kind of man who doesn't just tell the truth, he embodies it. Chapter 5. Not taking care of yourself. Hygiene and self-care aren't optional, they're the bare minimum. It doesn't matter how handsome you are, how expensive your clothes are, or how fit your body is. If you smell bad, have greasy hair, dirty nails, or breath that could knock someone out, none of that matters. Women notice everything. And bad hygiene? It's an instant deal breaker. A woman might tolerate a man who's still working on himself, who's still building his success, but she won't tolerate a man who doesn't respect his own body. Because that's what this is really about, self-respect. A man who neglects his hygiene and personal care is sending a message, even if he doesn't realize it. That message is, I don't value myself. And if you don't value yourself, why would she? Attraction isn't just about how you look, it's about the energy you project. A man who respects himself, who takes the time to groom, to stay clean, to present himself well, radiates confidence. A man who doesn't? He's signaling that he doesn't care. And there is nothing less attractive than a man who has given up on himself. But let's be clear, women aren't expecting you to be obsessed with your looks. They don't need you to spend hours in front of the mirror or follow the latest skincare trends. What they expect is effort. Basic, consistent effort. Shower daily. Brush your teeth twice. Use deodorant. Trim your facial hair or keep it neat. Keep your nails clean. Wear clean clothes that fit you well. These are the fundamentals, the absolute basics. And yet, so many men overlook them. And here's the thing, it's not just about how women see you. This is about your entire life. Because hygiene isn't just about vanity, it's about discipline. It's about showing that you take pride in yourself, in your body, in the way you present yourself to the world. It's about having standards for yourself. When you take care of your appearance, you show that you're a man who values quality. A man who takes himself seriously. And people, women included, treat you based on the way you treat yourself. But self-care isn't just about grooming, it's about your overall health and fitness. You don't need to be a bodybuilder, but if you let yourself go completely, if you have no strength, no endurance, no control over your body, it shows. And women notice. Not just because of how it looks, but because of what it represents, a lack of discipline, a lack of drive, a lack of care for your own well-being. Men who take care of their health exude a different energy. They stand taller, move with more confidence, and carry themselves with a quiet strength. A woman isn't just attracted to a man who looks good, she's attracted to what his body says about him. A strong, fit, well-maintained man signals that he has control over himself. That he has the discipline to take care of his body. That he's capable of handling life's challenges. And that is what makes him attractive. Imagine two men standing side by side. One wakes up, showers, shaves or grooms his beard, wears a well-fitted outfit, smells fresh, and walks with confidence. The other rolls out of bed, doesn't wash his face, wears wrinkled clothes, smells like sweat, and slouches through the day. Who do you think a woman will be more drawn to? Who do you think will command more respect, get more opportunities, and feel better about himself? The answer is obvious. Because here's the secret, it's not just about how others see you. It's about how you see yourself. When you take care of yourself, you feel better. Your confidence goes up. Your posture improves. Your mindset sharpens. You carry yourself differently. You become more magnetic not just to women, but to the world. People respect a man who respects himself. And this extends beyond hygiene and fitness. It's about every area of your life. The way you eat. The way you sleep. The way you manage stress. The way you carry yourself when you walk into a room. If you're constantly eating junk, running on for hours of sleep, and ignoring your mental health, it will show. You will look exhausted. You will feel sluggish. Your energy will be off. And people will notice. Taking care of yourself means setting a standard for how you live. It means knowing that your body is a reflection of your discipline. That your energy is a reflection of your mindset. That the way you treat yourself dictates the way others treat you. And here's the reality: the world does judge a book by its cover. If you look like a man who has his life together, people will assume you do. If you look like a man who doesn't care, people will assume you don't. It's that simple. So the rule is simple: respect yourself first, and women will respect you in return. Take care of your body, your hygiene, your health, not for them, but for you. Because when you do, everything else, your confidence, your presence, your attraction, falls into place. Chapter 6: Being Pessimistic. Nobody wants to be around a man who complains all the time. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, failures, disappointments. No one is immune to hardship. But the way you respond to those difficulties determines how people see you. If you're constantly negative, always bitter, and always acting like the world is against you, you will push women and everyone else away. Negativity is exhausting to be around. It drains the energy out of any conversation, any interaction, any relationship. Women aren't expecting you to be an overly cheerful optimist who smiles through every problem, but they do expect you to handle life with strength and perspective. Because here's the truth: life will test you. And if you crumble under pressure, if you complain instead of taking action, if you let problems define you instead of facing them, you're proving that you lack resilience. And women aren't attracted to weakness. A stoic man doesn't whine, he adapts. He doesn't dwell on what went wrong, he finds solutions. He doesn't blame others for his circumstances, he focuses on what he can control. That kind of mindset is magnetic because it signals strength, confidence, and leadership. A man who faces adversity without letting it break him is a man who earns respect, admiration, and deep attraction. Think about it: when has complaining ever solved anything? When has negativity ever made a situation better? When has self-pity ever inspired confidence? The answer is never. Negativity is weakness disguised as realism. A man who constantly complains is showing that he lacks the willpower to overcome obstacles. Women don't want a man who falls apart when things go wrong. They want a man who can stay composed in the face of hardship. Imagine this: you're on a date, and something goes wrong. Maybe the restaurant messes up your order, or traffic makes you late, or plans suddenly change. A weak man starts complaining. He gets irritated, blames others, and lets the situation ruin his mood. A strong man? He shrugs it off. He adjusts. He keeps his cool and moves forward. That difference in reaction speaks volumes. And women notice. There's another reason why pessimism is a major turn-off: it's contagious. The energy you bring into a room affects everyone around you. If you're always focusing on the worst-case scenario, always predicting failure, always carrying a heavy, defeated energy, that energy spreads. And no one, especially a woman, wants to be pulled into that mindset. A relationship should be a source of strength, not another burden to carry. But let's be clear: being stoic doesn't mean pretending that everything is fine all the time. It doesn't mean ignoring emotions or acting like problems don't exist. It means facing them without fear, without weakness, and without letting them consume you. It's about accepting that hardship is part of life and choosing to respond with discipline and resilience. Look at history. The greatest leaders, warriors, and thinkers weren't men who gave in to despair. They weren't men who sat around feeling sorry for themselves. They were men who took action, who found solutions, who refused to let negativity dictate their choices. That's what makes a man truly powerful. And here's the thing: women aren't looking for a man who has a perfect life. They're looking for a man who can handle life. They want a man who can face challenges and still stand tall. A man who can take a hit and keep moving forward. A man who doesn't break down at the first sign of difficulty. That's what creates attraction. That's what builds deep respect. So if you find yourself falling into negativity, stop and ask yourself, is this helping me? Is this making me stronger? Is this making me more attractive? If the answer is no, change your mindset. Start seeing obstacles as tests of your character. Start approaching problems as challenges to overcome. Stop focusing on what's wrong and start focusing on what you can do about it. Because a man who masters his mindset is a man who commands respect, admiration, and attraction. And a man who lets negativity control him, he loses before he even begins. Chapter 7. Being rude to service workers. How you treat others says everything about you. It's easy to be kind when everything is going well. When you're on a date, trying to impress her, you'll naturally be on your best behavior. But the real test of your character isn't how you act when things are perfect, it's how you treat those who have no power over you. You might think she won't notice if you roll your eyes at a slow waiter, barely acknowledge a cashier, or dismiss a bartender as if they don't matter. But she does. And when she sees that behavior, a shift happens. Respect fades. Attraction weakens. Because in that moment, you're revealing something crucial, how you see people who you don't need to impress. A woman doesn't just look at how you treat her. She looks at how you treat others. If you can't even show basic decency to a stranger, why should she believe you'll treat her well in the long run? What happens when the honeymoon phase wears off? What happens when she does something that annoys you? Will you belittle her? Will you dismiss her? If you lack basic respect for people you don't need, she knows it's only a matter of time before that same attitude is turned on her. It's deeper than just being nice. It's about emotional control, discipline, and respect. The way you treat a server at a restaurant, the way you acknowledge a janitor in a hotel, the way you interact with someone who isn't in a position to offer you anything, all of that tells her exactly who you are. And once she sees it, she won't forget it. And let's be clear, women aren't impressed by fake kindness. You can't perform politeness when it benefits you and then drop the act when you think no one's watching. True respect is a way of life, not a strategy to get what you want. And women are extremely good at spotting when a man's behavior is genuine and when it's just a mask. Think about the kind of men who lack respect for service workers. What do they all have in common? Entitlement. Weakness. Insecurity. They feel superior to those they perceive as beneath them. But real strength doesn't need to prove itself by stepping on others. A truly powerful man has nothing to prove, so he treats everyone with respect because he respects himself. Imagine a scenario, you're out with a woman and the restaurant makes a mistake on your order. The food comes out wrong. It's frustrating. You could respond in two ways. The weak man, the one who lets his emotions control him, lashes out. He raises his voice, insults the waiter, maybe even demands to see the manager. He thinks he's showing dominance, but all he's really doing is proving that he has no control over himself. He's revealing his fragility, his impatience, his lack of grace under pressure. And the woman sitting across from him? She's making a mental note. She's realizing that this is how he reacts to minor inconveniences. Now, imagine the strong man, the Stoic. The order is wrong. He acknowledges it. Maybe he calmly calls the waiter over, politely explains the mistake, and allows them to correct it. No anger. No entitlement. Just quiet control. He doesn't make a scene because he understands something the weak man never will. Losing control over small things is a sign of weakness, not strength. Women are drawn to men who carry themselves with confidence and composure, and nothing is more unattractive than a man who acts like the world owes him something. But beyond attraction, let's talk about something even more important, your reputation. Every time you disrespect a service worker, there are witnesses. Maybe the woman you're with. Maybe other people in the restaurant. Maybe even people who know you. Your reputation is being built in real time. And people talk. A single act of entitlement can make someone remember you in a negative light forever. And here's the irony. Being kind, respectful, and patient costs you nothing. In fact, it often works in your favor. A man who treats service workers well stands out. He's memorable in the best way possible. Women notice it, strangers notice it, and even the workers themselves notice it. And people who are respected get treated better in return. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to self-respect. A man who truly respects himself will never feel the need to put others down to feel powerful. He commands respect not by demanding it, not by intimidating others, but by leading with dignity and self-control. So the next time you're in a situation where you're dealing with someone in a service position, whether it's a waitress, a hotel clerk, or even a janitor, ask yourself, am I acting like the man I want to be? Or am I revealing my own weakness? Because how you treat others isn't just about them. It's a reflection of who you are. A Stoic man isn't just attractive, he's unshakable. He carries himself with discipline, strength, and self-respect. Women aren't just drawn to looks, they're drawn to energy. If you embody these principles, attraction takes care of itself. Now, let me know in the comments, what's the biggest turn-off you've ever seen? Like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it valuable. And remember, attraction isn't about impressing her, it's about becoming a man worth her time.